to a story we have been following since mid-afternoon.
18 passengers were injured after a Delta plane flipped upside down during landing at Toronto
Wow.
Pearson Airport.
Here's what we know tonight. The FAA says 80 people were on that plane at the time of the crash, 76 passengers and 4 crew. The aircraft was arriving from Minneapolis. There were no deaths or critical injuries. This,
Good.
according to airport officials.
We also learned that the same aircraft that crashed flew from Cleveland to Minneapolis earlier today. NBC's Tom Costello has the latest.
On the runway in Toronto, a terrifying end for Delta Flight 4819.
Our plane crashed. It's upside down.
Lying upside down on the runway, an Endeavour Air regional jet had just arrived from Minneapolis in gusty winds when something went terribly wrong.
This airplane just crashed at 23.
As thick black smoke poured from the plane, firefighters smothered the scene in foam. The right wing ripped off, the fuselage bearing what appeared to be skid or soot marks.
Everything, drop it.
All 80 people on board managed to escape through the emergency exits.
I was walking to this fence and I could see a CRJ that is possibly crashed on the airport. The airplane is flipped.
18 people injured and transported to area hospitals, including 2 airlifted to trauma centers. 1 child rushed to Children's Hospital in Toronto.
I've seen a few people on stretchers that we have transported. I have seen one person with a sling on their arm, and I've seen others that are just potentially exposure type injuries because it is very cold here.
The plane, a Bombardier CRJ 900 regional jet made in Canada, is a workhorse for short-haul flights worldwide. At the time of the crash, it was 18 degrees with 20 to 30 mile-per-hour winds and strong crosswinds. The question for investigators, how and why did the plane lose at least one, maybe both wings on landing, then flip over, causing jet fuel to spill onto the runway?
I think it's possible the wing may have touched the runway due to a gust, and if that's the case, then the rest of this makes sense. But the recorders are going to show that.
In a statement, Delta says our primary focus is taking care of those impacted. The flight was carrying a total of 80 people, 76 passengers, and 4 crew. The investigation now will be led by the Canadian Transportation Safety Board, with both the U.S. FAA and NTSB assisting.
That's good.
And that was NBC's Tom Costello reporting. Now, to reiterate, that same aircraft left Cleveland at about 8 o'clock this morning for Minneapolis. So far, there is no indication that any passengers on that flight were also on the Minneapolis flight to Toronto.
I am just happy that nobody died. Listen, these things, we don't want it to happen. We don't want these crashes to happen. Of course, more people would say, this is why I don't fly. But I will never stop flying unless I get old and I can't fly anymore. I mean, hopefully I can get old. But even if as I get older, I want to fly. Even into my 90s, I want to fly. But I'm just happy that no deaths, okay? The plane landed and something must have happened and a tilt, lost its wing and flipped over. That's a scary, scary, scary situation right there. But no deaths have been reported, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. We just have to learn from it, probably do like more de-icing of the roads or the runway and stuff like that, so that it can be a little safer. Well, not even a little safer, more safer for planes to land, and just try to make it work. So I know a lot of people out there will probably be like, oh, you know, I'm not going to fly. I'm just going to drive. Listen, if you want to go overseas, you're going to have to fly. You're going to have to fly. Now, the likelihood of this stuff happening in like a Caribbean country where it's warm, it might not happen like that because it's warm, you know, but you just have to understand that you take a chance doing anything, getting into a car, getting on a plane, getting on a bus. I take public transportation in New York, and somebody could just mollywop you in the bus crash or something like that. You don't know. So just have to be willing to just take those chances, take those risks in life, and just be willing to enjoy life, you know, willing to live. So shout out to the pilot, because from the looks of it, pilot did everything that he could. And because the wing must have hit, because of gusting, wing must have hit, and then it turned on its side. Hey, pilot did everything that he could, and hopefully when they listen to the black box, they'll see exactly what happened, or not see, but they'll hear exactly what happened, because we saw that the plane crashed. And just be able to just thank God that, like I said, nobody passed away. And I know that it's been a rough few months for aviation, but it is going to get better. These incidents always cause better laws to come into play. So I hope that Uncle Trump, Uncle Elon, Uncle JD Vance, I hope that, and the rest of the aunts and uncles in Congress and Senate and US Senate, I hope they're looking at these things and saying, okay, what type of laws can be created so that the American people and people around the world can feel safer as they fly? That's what needs to happen, and I hope they do it. But my brothers and sisters, I just want to hear from you. What do you think about this situation right here? Do you feel weary of flying now that over the past 3 months we've had incident after incident after incident? Or do you think that maybe it's something that's going on to try to distract us from what's going on in the real world? Tell me. It's crazy out here. I want to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate you. I know your time is valuable, but you spent it with me. Appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it. Can you please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified for any videos that I drop. Thank you for watching. Be safe. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace.